Good morning. Roshna, over to you.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah, you can start, Roshna.
Begin to hello. Am I audible?
You have a connection problem, Roshna?
Uh, am I audible now?
Your sound is a little feeble. You can talk louder.
Okay. Before beginning the event, I request each and every participant to kindly mute their audio for better clarity. I repeat, before beginning the event, I request each and every participant to kindly mute their audio for better clarity. It's the day 2 of the international conference, and I hope that the day 1 was a fruitful one for all of us. A very warm good morning to our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Joseph V. Tanikil, all the distinguished guests, faculty members, and all the attendees to the second international conference on innovative trends in engineering for sustainability. It's indeed a great start for all of us to have such a wonderful personality here with us for the keynote address. Professor Dr. Joseph V. Tanikal, Associate Dean and Director, School of Construction, RICS, School of Built Environment, Amity University, Noida. And to introduce him further to all of us, I invite Associate Professor Vidya Jose ma'am. Ma'am, please. And to introduce him further to all of us, I invite Associate Professor.
It's my privilege to introduce the keynote speaker of the session, Professor Dr. Joseph Vithanikil, Associate Dean and Director of RICS School of Construction, Amity University, Noida, India. He has more than 32 years of academic and research experience in engineering and research institutions. He has been consultant for industries and for many social organizations. He has obtained his basic engineering in civil engineering and specialized in environmental biotechnology. He was awarded postdoctoral fellowship by INRA France. He is a member of Canadian Council of Professional Engineers, Canadian Environmental Practitioner in Education and Research by CECAB, Society of Chemical Industry. He is the chair of Specialist Group Small Water and Wastewater Systems, Distinguished Fellow and Executive Committee Member of International Water Association, Life Member of ISTE, and served as Scientific Committee Member for several international conferences. He has, to his credit, National Award by Indian Society of Technical Education for innovative research work in engineering, patent for inventing procedure for method for purifying effluent in an anaerobic fixed bed reactors using non-clogging support. The patent was awarded by World Intellectual Property Organization. He has research interest in wastewater management, waste management, and construction management. He has been a consultant and has designed and built buildings as well as treatment plants. He is also involved in community development projects. Sir, I invite you to address the gathering.
Sir, I'll give the option for you to present, sir.
Okay. Just let me know whether my screen is visible.
No, sir. Not.
Not yet. Okay. I just have trouble in sharing my.
Bala, sir, you are there. Can you just.
It's not allowing me to share my screen.
Um, sir, you can do
The
one thing.
share.
Send me the PPT, I can present it.
I
Sir,
can.
you try to go out, I mean, disconnect and come again, it may work, sir.
Oh, 1 minute. Okay.
Yes. Aravind, welcome to this session. I can't see you because I know you have joined.
And good morning. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Aravind, for joining. He is joining from Oman.
Good morning, madam. How are you? Bala
Good
speaking.
morning, sir. Thank you for joining, sir. He is also joining from
Okay.
Oman, Muscat.
Thank you very much, madam, for inviting me.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, madam. Okay.
Thank you, Aravind.
Okay.
Dhiraj, I'm not still getting the present share my screen. The screen is not working.
So maybe it is your system. You have to give that permission. So there is an option for that.
Okay. But otherwise, I'll share you my PPT.
Yeah,
I
please,
think
sir.
that's the best way instead of.
Yeah, you can send it to my mail, sir.
Just give me a minute. Just let me know you have received.
Yes, sir.
You got it?
No, sir, not yet.
It's gone from my side.
Yes, sir, I received it. Yes.
Okay. Thanks. Okay. Seems to that you have the access now. All right. Okay. So good morning, all the participants who are there for this conference. And let me just confirm I'm audible to all of you. Should be, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So much appreciating the kind words of Vidya Jose, who introduced me. Thank you so much for introducing me to this conference. And I'm happy to, and also thankful to Professor Ladiraj, who was my earlier colleague at Caledonian College of Engineering at Muscat, to invite me to be part of this conference. And I hope that I'll do the justice to my extent possible. And I see my earlier fellow colleagues, Dr. Aravind and also Dr. Balamurali Krishnan. So nice to see you all there be part of this conference. So let me start this, the keynote. And just before getting into the subject, I just would like to introduce where I am from and the school which I belong to. So RICSC short form is now, it's a Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors. They're about 152-year-old professional body in the UK and present in all over the world with more than 160,000 members and about 2,000 members in India. So in 2013, they identified the gap in the building standards in India, which is also a part of the sustainability part, and the non-standard methods used in the construction. They decided to start a School of Built Environment to offer the MBA programs in construction project management, quantity surveying, and real estate. So the school has been in existence in 2000, since 2013, and have a record. It is now about, now we've completed almost 7 years. So I'm leading the academic lead of the RIC School of Built Environment for the Noida campus, as well coordinating the Mumbai campus. So we have two campuses at present in India. So I'm basically placed in Noida, but I'm born and brought up in Kerala from Trichy. But I must say that I had an opportunity to go around the world, meet people. So that's where I am. And currently, since it's work from home, I'm situated in Kerala, in Trichy. So, with that small, brief introduction of mine, where I am, where I come from, I get into the keynote speech of today, the Sustainable Infrastructure Development Future Part. Yeah. So, living into the first part, it's just to understand the term sustainability, because it was known earlier to us, but then it is now more spoken in every forum. And if I take a forum of debate, you could see that this is a continued subject, and anybody has an opinion on a word called sustainability. So pertaining to where it comes from, it was more sounded in 1980s, and there is a well-known report by Bertland Commission, which defines that the development that meets the need of present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. It's basically looking at four quadrants or four components. So the first one, we call it as the economic sustainability, social sustainability, environmental sustainability, and institutional sustainability. The economic sustainability has become now more catchy in the sense of the developments that we are forecasting and the developments that we are going ahead. But looking at that, when an infrastructure or a development that happens, when you add that terminology called sustainability, it's also more important to see that how the social environment improves just around the project that we develop or the development that is happening in the community. More of we are now worried about the climate, change that is happening, and people are talking, and we are actually feeling in this front that it is not like what it was before. So we are seeing the change in the climate much faster than it was forecasted that it might happen in 2030 or it might happen after 50 years. So, and also we are witnessing certain things like the current pandemic situation, which we thought that our generation may not see, but it is kept for the future generation. So we are actually experiencing all these issues much earlier than that has been expected. So the next one is how do we take care of the environment to see that we come out of this problem of climate change and pollution and preserve the environment for the next generation the way that they would like to see the environment and use it. But by doing all these things, these are not actually in pockets, but we are also contributing to the global and national strategies, which are very important to see that your organization or the development is also contributing to the global level. The next slide. The next slide, please. Okay. I think I have a control of. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. No. The previous slide, please. Okay. I just would like to highlight this forum about when we talk about the sustainability. There are 17 goals by the UN, which are called as the Sustainable Development Goals. And if you look at, I'm not going to go in every detail of these 17 goals. Every goal seems to be focusing on sustainability. And at times, there are organizations and institutions have taken the priority of many things taking up these goals. So the idea is that by 2030, these goals are made possible as well sustainable in the future part. So investing in basic sustainable infrastructure is essential to improving the living standards for communities worldwide. So when we speak about the basics, we mean the fundamentals. So there are issues which compromises common human needs all over the world. Just because these are basic, however, does not mean that addressing such concerns correctly is a simple task. In the case of infrastructure, it requires a coordinated long-term planning that stretches across the geographical and political and cultural boundaries. Can we move into the next slide, please? So, if you pick up the goal 9, if you would have noted out of the 17 goals, this is for the industry innovation and infrastructure, which is basically very important in any country that is to take their development. So, under the UNEP launched the Sustainable Infrastructure Partnership, which is called SIP in 2018, as a platform to promote and support integrated approaches to sustainable infrastructure planning and development. So such approaches recognize the centrality of infrastructure to by 2030 agenda for sustainable development. And if you clearly look at that, the sustainable development is to help and deliver optimal social, environmental, and economic outcomes of the infrastructure development by considering the complex interlinkage between different infrastructure system sectors, phases, governance, structures, and the aspects of sustainability.
Hello.
So if you look at on the
Answer.
left side of the slide, you could see that 3.8 billion people are still not accessible to the internet,
എന്താണ്
and we have seen such
നിങ്ങൾക്കൊക്കെ
the development had to be sustainable or should have been thought of sustainability when we were hit by the current pandemic situation. So we need to really look at whenever we develop something which is sustainable and having a long-term plan. The next slide, please. So, what is actually the, when we say infrastructure, what it comes to our mind is very limited. Like you talk about roads, you talk about bridges, or you talk about such kind of development. But this is something, what we need to think now is much beyond the elements that we see in front of us. So, when you say that infrastructure is a set of structural elements that supports the day-to-day function and influences the direction of human society. So, sustainable infrastructure refers to designing, building, and operating of these structural elements in a way that we do not diminish the social, economic, and ecological process required to maintain human equity, diversity, and the functionality of a natural system. And much is explained and taught now about the inclusivity and diversity in the present situation. So these are very important as well as the sustainable social part and the human element is concerned when we talk about the infrastructure development. So infrastructure is a critical to sustainable community development, our future well-being, and the day-to-day lives of every individual. The five key infrastructure areas, are to be defined as energy, transportation, waste management, land use planning, and governance. And I will take some example of what is, because we'll not be able to cover the entire infrastructure development at this point of time or through this keynote, but I'll touch on what is more important at this point of time on the energy sector. The next slide, please. So, if you look at in our country, infrastructure sector is a key driver for Indian economy. The sector is highly responsible for propelling India's overall development and enjoys intense focus from government for initiating policies that would ensure time-bound creation of world-class infrastructure in the country. So in the past, if you could look at the infrastructure sector includes power, bridges, dams, roads, and urban infrastructure development. India was ranked, we must be proud that 44 out of 167 countries in the World Bank's Logistics Performance Index LPI in 2018. So this indicates that we are in the forefront in establishing sustainable infrastructure and also going ahead creating opportunities for that. So India requires now an investment worth about rupees $50 trillion in infrastructure rupees in infrastructure by 2022 to have a sustainable development in the country. That defines the size of investment the government is planning and also the future or the future opportunities for the current and the future generation. Next slide. So if you look at here, the advantages, it's very it is divided into four part. What is the advantage for India? So it's going to be expected to become the world's third largest construction market by 2022. And if you look at the opportunities, you could see that there are several things which are still requiring the development, like our national highways that are only developed up to 24%, and that requires has a scope for immense improvement in that particular region. If you look at the policy support, which is again important that while the infrastructure development is done, there will be changes to the policies, new policies coming in. With all that, you can see that there are two things very important: is the initiatives like housing for all and smart city mission will drive the growth of the sector for the future. And you can see that the increasing investment and which I will touch upon when I come to the energy sector, that now our country is in fact inviting a lot of foreign investment in the sector, in the energy sector, especially as a reciprocative effect on the climate change. and we are looking at such environmental sustainable energy production in the country. So that's where we are with the opportunities and the advantage for our own country as well as the infrastructure development is concerned. Next one. So investing in basic sustainable structure is essential to improving the living standards of the communities worldwide. So when we speak the basics, we mean the fundamentals, but there are issues with the compromised common human needs all over the world. So just because these are basics, however, does not mean that addressing such concerns correctly is a simple task. So that's the challenge in front of us. So the three things on a long-term planning that we would face in developing the policies will be the geographical locations, political and cultural boundaries that might influence when we have the projects launched in the country because it's a multi-diversified country and you need to look at all these three factors while we talk about the sustainable infrastructure. Next slide. So I'll just touch upon in two slides on the why energy is attracting people and also why energy is so important for us. So looking at this, these are the most important sector, but at the same time contributing the CHG gases to the environment and which is actually causing the pollution with respect to the what we call the climate change. So we started talking about designing about energy efficient buildings. We have started talking about a step ahead, which is called a high performance building. So these are all these things are the new. So they are not actually new concepts, but now we are focusing on to save energy, but also to have less impact on the environment. So this is where the sustainability of buildings are going to be in future. Next slide, please. So if you look at before just I go into the five components here, you could see that the carbon dioxide emission that is been affecting and contributed from the building industry. This is as per the UN report. So the sector is far from being on track for decarbonization and not withstanding the effects of COVID-19. And then you can see that 38% of global energy related to carbon dioxide emission, including buildings and the construction industry, and 35% of global energy use. So such importance is there for the the building sector, which is actually contributing such a good amount of carbon dioxide or CHG gases into the environment. So it is possible to have a net zero by 2050 using the technologies with bold action, policies, and investment. So five things to look at here is that energy demand, which is increasing globally, but at the same time, climate change presents increasing challenges for energy production, and significant cuts in the CHG emission from energy can be achieved through a variety of measures by using the different kind of technology. There's a strong global political action that is required on the climate change, and that would have a major implication for the energy sector. Incentivizing the investment in low carbon technologies will be a key challenge and also will be a key promotion for our country as a global partner to the Paris Agreement. And these are the things why we are talking about the energy sector, more importantly, when we look at the sustainable infrastructure development. So I'll just go through the next four slides, report which was produced post-COVID, how it is going to look like on the green infrastructure opportunity. So COVID-19 crisis has also highlighted the vulnerability and the need of strengthen our resilience to future threats to humanity, including that of climate change. And there are calls from the governments and industries to create stimulus packages that will enable the green recovery. Now, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, which is called OECD, estimates that about 60% of the current global emissions are from the infrastructure. So that is where we need to relook at it and then make it more sustainable. Next slide. So if you look at the sustainable infrastructure investment opportunities in India, one is the green transport. We are much now talking about the electric vehicles, which are imperative, and green transport specifically, electric mobility and shared mobility platforms provide a range of investor opportunity in India, where the government is prioritizing low carbon transport activities. Next slide. Renewable energy is again, we talk everywhere. You could see that there are seminars, there are debate forums, there are discussions which are going on this. But if you look at, what is India's commitment in this part is that as on 31st March 2020, India's power generation installed capacity was about 370 gigawatts with 87 gigawatts of renewable energy. Now we have to raise up to this amount from 87 gigawatts to 175 gigawatts of renewable energy power projects by 2022. And that is the commitment of India on the renewable energy production. Next one. Waste to energy is again a much talked topic, and you could see that there are endeavors and then initiatives taken on converting waste to energy. But the whole thing is that very importantly, to see that whether one renewable energy source can it be called as a sustainable one, or can it support the entire or replacement of the fundamental fuels that we use, coal and other things. So it has been found by a study recently done in UK that it is not possible to completely replace the whole thing by renewable energy because of its non-continuous production and non-reliability. But then we can always see that you have an integrated technology where you integrate the traditional energy production as well as from the waste to energy and any other renewable sources so that we can still sustain the energy, address the energy consumption to the extent that is possible. So there are several infrastructure opportunities, investment opportunities, and investors coming into India, and there's going to be a lot of funding growth to this particular sector. Next. So, how do you look at the opportunity? So, securing the opportunity in India. So, to summarize that, you know, considering the sustainable development that is required and which every country is looking at as a global progress on the sustainable infrastructure, we have a great opportunity to sum up here that in summary, there is an adequate capital available to finance infrastructure projects, which will likely accelerate post-COVID-19 and help kickstart economies to come out of the recession. Key, however, is for the risk in the projects to adequately mitigated with the right party taking the appropriate risk. Correct unbundling of infrastructure chain before private capital is deployed is the keyword. Regulating the element of infrastructure chain that is monopolistic in nature in paramount. For example, the transmission sector in power needs to be regulated as the barriers to entry are high. The generation element of power sector chain needs not be regulated and it's not monopolistic, and free markets should set tariff. The next decade will likely witness a surge in sustainable infrastructure financed by sustainable finance with the objective of meeting the infrastructure needs of common individual, helping the environment and creating social benefits for the communities around the world. So at this point, with the next slide, I would just like to conclude. Can you move on to the next? Yeah. So looking at the pandemic situation, people think that the future is closed, but it is not so. And if I have to quote the words of a Nobel laureate, saying that this is an untouched opportunity. You have not seen, I have not seen. So this is an untouched opportunity. And being untouched opportunity, you have ample scope for the future to develop. And to address a sustainable development, what is required is looking at a wide range of specialization or speciality that can improve and give you more scope on this. So these are the areas in which a civil engineer or anybody who's interested on the infrastructure development should look at for your future growth. And with that, I must say thank you very much. And I'm not sure, maybe 1 or 2 minutes I would have extended on my speech, but I think it would have been an informative one. And these are my contacts. And anytime anybody would like to talk to me or contact me, you can very well do that. And thank you, everyone, for listening to this keynote. And especially, I would like to thank all the organizers and the management of the Topics institution who has given me this opportunity. And I must say that I should congratulate that the lead taken on this by Professor Ladiraj during this pandemic situation to have this wonderful virtual conference with the support of your management. And thank you so much. We'll see sometime face to face in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That was indeed an informative one. I thank all the participants for attending the session. A feedback form has been shared in the chat box. Kindly fill it for participation certificates. I repeat, the feedback form has been shared in the chat box. I thank all the faculty member and especially our Professor HOD Ladikarti ma'am for attending the session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, again, once again, for joining us and giving this wonderful session on sustainable infrastructure development. Definitely, it is very much required. If anybody wants to ask sir any question, you are welcome to do that. Otherwise, we will meet in the next session. Roshna, when is it? Next session?
The next section will be beginning
Yeah,
by 11.
Aravind,
11 to
11 at 11. Okay. So we'll meet
Yes,
at
ma'am.
11. Thank you, Aravind and Bala sir, for joining from there and attending this session. Thank you very much.
Can I join on the same link for the session or on the different?
Sir, we have the different links for different sessions.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Aravind, do you want to
Thank you so
say
much, sir.
a few words? Aravind?
Yes, madam. Sir, good morning.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. Really happy to hear your voice after a few years. I have a small question, sir. Is there any relationship between sustainable development goal and the fourth industrial revolution, sir?
Yes. So if you look at in 2017, towards the end of 2017 and beginning of 2018, people started talking about taking this industrial revolution 4.0, and that is where they started looking at the educational framework as education 4.0. So these are all about, if you ask me, the direct relation is that the education framework now is getting changed to what we call it as a competency-based and skill-based education. So if you would have seen my last slide on my presentation, which I thought I just put it for the information of the students and the other forum, is that is what is looked at. So definitely there is a direct link between the sustainability and this, because unless you are a multivariant now, we will not be able to address the requirement of the industry, because in the last 1 year, the industry itself has changed or diversified into different kind of portfolios for their own operation, because this pandemic was very much unexpected. So did I clarify that, Aravind?
Yes, sir. It's clear. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Bala, you have any questions?
Bala sir, I think he left already.
Okay.
Today is a working day, no sir? There.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, for them it's over.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, madam.
Okay,
Thank you.
so Aravind, convey my regards to the people who are there in Caledonia.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. Sure. Okay.
Sir, actually, Aravind and Bala sir, they actually helped me a lot in this conference. They have reviewed, like you sir, many papers for us and
Okay.
gave their valuable comments also.
All
Thank you. I
right.
take this opportunity to thank you, Aravind. I hope you will join us for the valedictory function. I'll send you the link, Aravind.
Sure, madam. We will join. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, okay. Sir, you should also join us.
Yeah,
During
I will. I will. I will. Okay.
Thank you
Okay.
very much, sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you very much. Bye.
So we'll meet at 11 on the same link, Roshna.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.